Hi, I'm Naresh, and welcome to Team 8's presentation on Benlysta. My teammates are Frank, Juan, and Dave. Here's some background on Benlysta. It is a GSK product. It was approved in March 2011, used as a treatment for SLE or lupus. It works by inhibiting the B cell activation factor. Since Benlysta is a treatment for lupus, let's see what lupus is. Lupus is an autoimmune disease, and it causes severe inflammation in different parts of the body. Symptoms include unexplained rashes, fever, and fatigue. About 1.5 million Americans and 5 million people worldwide suffer from lupus. Here are some facts about the company GSK, which owns Benlysta. GSK is market leader in pharmaceuticals with over 300 years of rich history and impressive financial and CSR numbers. GSK Pharmaceutical Division focuses on 6 research areas, namely oncology, infectious disease, immunoinflammation, respiratory, vaccine, and other pharmaceuticals. Benlysta is part of their immunoinflammation portfolio. Main competitors are Roche, Novartis, Pfizer, Merck, and AstraZeneca. GSK holds an impressive portfolio and pipeline with 79 prescription brands, 31 trademark vaccines, 21 customer healthcare products, and 65 candidates in its pipeline. Let's take a look at GSK's pharmaceutical turnover. It grossed over 17 billion pounds in pharmaceuticals in 2018. It is interesting to note that immunoinflammation is the smallest portion of the turnover, but it is the fastest growing portion. The growth is being led by Benlysta. GSK's strengths. Strong R&D is its strength. It invested close to 4 billion pounds in 2018 in its R&D efforts. It has 11,000 employees that are directly working on R&D and has a rich pipeline. Another strength is GSK's portfolio. It is rich and well diversified with over 100 different branded pharmaceutical products and 21 popular consumer brands. GSK's huge free cash flow and strong profits are also its strength. GSK's weaknesses are controversies, legal violations in China market manipulations in UK, and tax issues in US hurt company's brand image. Other weaknesses are restricted label use for Benlysta and patent expirations. GSK has lots of opportunities. One of the biggest opportunities is global growth. GSK's global presence, expertise, and huge sums of free cash flow brings worldwide growth opportunities through mergers, acquisitions, and strategic partnerships. Benlysta offers a first-to-market advantage opportunity, being only approved SLE treatment. And there's also an opportunity for true innovation. Availability of huge sums of genetic data offers opportunity to shift from slight enhancement model to true innovation. Threats for GSK. Increasing pricing pressure is a threat due to shifting political policies and regulatory landscape. Increasing generic competition due to patent expiration. Another threat is slower future growth due to economic slowdown in Europe and Asia. Now Dave will share Benlysta's R&D story with us. Thank you.
The research and development process for Benlysta started back in 1992, when researchers for the Human Genome Sciences and the Institute for Genomic Research were working on DNA sequencing. In May of 1998, HES identified the BLYS gene in a patent. In October 2000, a human single-chain antibody was discovered that bound to the BLYS gene and disrupted the interaction with cognitive cellular receptors. This antibody will later become Benlysta. It was after this when researchers identified the correlation between patients with systematic lupus and elevated BLYS levels. This resulted in studies using antibody in mice and monkeys that had lupus, and it showed promising results. So in November 2001, HES conducted phase 1 clinical trials in 70 humans with mild or moderate SLE disease, and it proved for Benlysta to be safe in humans. In September 2003, phase 2 clinical started with patients with SLE and rheumatoid arthritis. The rationale for rheumatoid arthritis trial was based on favorable results with the BLYS antagonist in murine collagen-induced arthritis, which is a form of rheumatoid arthritis. The clinical trial consisted of 283 patients. 29% experienced a clinical response to treat rheumatoid arthritis. However, 16% experienced a clinical response with the placebo. This resulted in HES to no longer pursue Benlysta as a treatment for rheumatoid arthritis. Then HES started a 1-year clinical trial with 449 patients for the treatment of lupus. This is when GSK exercised their option to develop Benlysta. Phase 2 was unsuccessful in producing expected results in reducing flare-ups and disease activity. However, it was later determined that phase 2 had a faulty design. Patients were only required to have a history of a positive anti-nuclear antibody test to enter the phase. Instead, it was determined that patients need a current positive anti-nuclear antibody test. After this was identified, patients that were treated with Benlysta had experienced better responses than those treated with placebo. So in February 2007, phase 3 started. This consisted of 2 trials, Bliss 52 and Bliss 76. Bliss 52 had 865 patients from Latin America, the Asia Pacific, and Eastern European regions. Patients were given a low dose experienced a 16% response rate, where patients that were given a higher dose experienced a 32% response rate. With Bliss 76, they had 819 patients from North America, Central America, and European regions. Patients that were given the low dose of 1 milligram per kilogram experienced a response rate of 41%, and patients that were given a higher dose of 10 milligrams per kilogram experienced a response rate of 43%. So in June 2007, GSK submitted their biologic license application. Then in March 9, 2011, Benlysta was approved by the FDA for the treatment of adult patients with active autoantibody positive and systematic lupus who are receiving standard therapy. Intellectual property. While there are separate patents that relate to Benlysta, we will focus on 2. First is U.S. Patent 6403770, which was originally filed in June 8, 2000 by HES, and it expires June 8, 2020. This patent relates to the novel neutrophil alpha, which was the original name of the BLYS gene. The second patent, U.S. patent number 7879328, was originally filed on February 10, 2005, and expires February 10, 2025. This patent covers the antibodies that bind to the BLYS gene, Benlysta. Because this patent expires in 6 years, other companies could attempt to make a generic version of Benlysta.
Hi, my name is Vaughn Greer. I'm going to discuss regulatory approval and pricing for Benlysta. Benlysta has several indications that are active indications. That's the systemic lupus erythematosus, which is also referred to as SLE. On the right, there are several clinical trials for the U.S. that are shown, and the developmental status and the dates in which those studies for the indications commenced. But they include multiple sclerosis, renal disease, and et cetera. In terms of formulations, there's 2 main ones for the Benlysta. There's the subcutaneous IV infusion and the intravenous infusion version. In terms of clinical endpoints, there's 4 main studies that were conducted: the Bliss SC, the Bliss 52, the Bliss 76, and the Northeast Asia study. And then on the right are the primary endpoints for those studies. And then on the bottom, you could see that there's the primary measure assessment index, which is primarily looking to see if there is assessment of remission during the study. In terms of efficacy of the 4 studies, from left to right, shown in orange is the Benlysta versus the placebo, and in all cases across the weeks trial, it was considerably, statistically significantly more, have more of an impact than the placebo. Therefore, the clinical trials supported evidence that there was efficacy during treatment. In terms of side effects, there was a lot of the common side effects we see in most drugs: infection, serious infection, and hypersensitivity. And this was corroborated by the clinical studies, which showed that nausea and diarrhea also were some of the primary issues for most patients. In terms of black box warnings, there's three main ones we can discuss. There's mortality, hypersensitivity, and serious infections. So this is the language and the warnings that appear on the box for Benlysta. And now we'll discuss pricing. For Benlysta, it averages around $35,000 per year, and it does depend upon which dosage option you have. And the primary competitors are the Plaquenil Quinprox, which is around $35,000 more than that option. And then you have the hydroxychloroquine, which is around $2,800 more. And then you have the generic prednisone, which is around $117.75, depending upon which option you go with. In doing a pricing analysis, we feel that there was a patent thicket in evergreening activities done by GSK and HGS, which drove the price up for Benlysta because they are set to expire in 2025. So we feel that they're strategic in that to use the patent protection that they do have to garner the price that they would like to achieve. And here are the competitors, or these are some of the competitor manufacturers that make each of the different options against. So this would be the companies that are have alternatives to the Benlysta options. So we have them shown on the left, and then each of them do have the same similar side effects that the Benlysta has. In terms of sales, Benlysta is on track to be a blockbuster drug by 2023, reaching over $1 billion in sales annually. Currently in 2018, it had about $617 million, and on track for about $750 million by 2019. And most of those sales are in the U.S. In terms of competitors, we looked at the prednisone option drug from Merck. It's considerably less than the Benlysta, around $60 million, but it should plateau actually starting this year and all the way through 2023 before it takes a sharp decline. And now Frank will talk about reimbursement.
Now, with regards to reimbursement for Benlysta, Benlysta is a tier 4 prescription drug. This is the prescription drug tier, which consists of higher cost drugs. It consists mostly of brand name prescription drugs and some specialty drug formulations. In the USA, the drug is covered by private insurance and Medicare. With respect to private insurance, coverage varies from one insurance to the other. Aetna, for instance, considers Benlysta intravenous administration medically necessary for the treatment of adult and pediatric patients aged 5 years or older, or subcutaneous injection in adults aged 18 years or older with active systemic lupus erythematosus, or SLE, and positive autoantibody test. On the other hand, Blue Cross Blue Shield considers medically necessary for patients who are 18 years of age or older for the treatment of active autoantibody positive systemic lupus erythematosus, or SLE. A search on Blue Cross Blue Shield website reveals it doesn't cover Benlysta for pediatrics. Despite these differences, there are a lot of similarities with coverage exclusions among private insurance companies in the USA. Now, marketing of Benlysta. GSK uses its website to market Benlysta as the best option for the treatment of SLE. Through its website, physicians and patients are updated on the development of the drug. GSK also updates all its stakeholders and other interested parties on the steps it is taking to receiving authorization by regulatory bodies such as the FDA. This is to show that its drugs and other products are of the highest standards and they do not cut corners. GSK also employs social media such as Facebook and LinkedIn page, where consumers and physicians can interact with company officials and learn more about Benlysta. Now, with regards to target marketing, GSK targets patients suffering from SLE and people with family members or friends with SLE and rheumatologists involved in the treatment of SLE. In order to overcome the barriers of adoption in this market segment, GSK provides its target audience with safety information regarding the drug, the side effects of the drug, and some measures which can be taken to reduce the side effects. Through its website and social media accounts, GSK provides a platform which educates consumers directly and sheds light on the effectiveness of Benlysta. GSK therefore makes the drug known to consumers and dispel myths and misconceptions that may arise. Thank you.